Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. We are at Go for Ferguson.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio. It's Sunday evening, the 15th of March, 2015. Your host here, Brian Smith, along with
Carrie Smith,
giving you all the facts and figures of the last week, getting you set up for the week to come so that you are the most informed, high-information individual at your place of employment or anywhere you go. Whenever you talk to your family members and friends and they try to slip one by you, you can catch it and return it.
Or I was going to say, or your place of unemployment.
Because that apparently is pretty high this 2015, although Obama last week said that he saved the American economy from the
brink. Yeah.
Brink.
Buzzwords very important here.
Brink.
We were just discussing this. The brink being an imaginary line in an imaginary place, which, if crossed, constitutes a hellish-like place that occupies your mind.
Oh, boy, will it occupy.
But it's kind of like infinity. You never quite get there, and you never will, and that's not the point. The point is, it's important that we fill your head full of fear of what the brink may be.
Right.
Because they want to tell you what we need to do to keep from arriving at this imaginary destination, so that you agree to all the communist policies that they will put into place in order to prevent us from going over the imaginary line to the imaginary place.
Correct.
And that is the MO of the Democrat Party.
So, this is what...
Agent Hurley, I want you to give this scumbag a cavity search. I'm talking roto-rooter. Don't stop till you reach the back of his teeth.
Oh!
And that's what probably may or may not happen to Hilary.
Oh, yes. That was a good segue, by the way. Because I was like, what is this in reference to? Oh, yeah. Hilary is definitely going to get the prison treatment.
Yeah. Apparently, and I know that it started coming up little by little, and it's been 8 days. It was 8 days on Tuesday, since this past Tuesday, since this, the liberals like to call it a no scandal, but since this ordeal erupted with Hilary using personal email account. Not only was it a personal email account, but she also has a private server in her home. That's something you and I, average Joe, don't have. We use... Like if you use a Google email account,
you're on Google servers,
right?
And just about anything, whatever company it is, they have their own. It could be a web host,
right?
Website host.
Well, like
they'll have their own servers,
right? Like if you went to Smith Radio or contact at smithradio.com, the server is GoDaddy, and that's who hosts a lot of the things that we do. My personal email goes through GoDaddy.
Yeah, my very first website ever, I believe it was a website called freeservers.com.
Now, back in the day.
And it wasn't, it was sort of free if you wanted them to load up your web pages full of ads.
Right.
Or you could pay them to have ad-free web hosting, but you're on their servers.
Right. And a server, in layman's terms, just to be as simple as possible, a server is a computer that holds all the information and then actually gets it to the internet.
Think of it as a computer like your tower, and they're just a little bit bigger. They're not that big, individual servers. If you have a bank of servers, it could be a whole room full of them. But it's pretty much just a computer with very large storage capacity, because that's where something like a website would be stored.
And so all of those ships that are out in the ocean that say Google on them, those giant carnival-sized cruise ships. Those ships are all full of servers for Google, storing all our information.
In a barge, if you will.
I saw there were pictures of these ships. They said they were Google ships.
Okay, I didn't.
No, you
know
didn't.
it. No, I didn't. This is news to me. Breaking news, everybody. Wow.
So, but the whole point of having a server, if you went out and bought and owned your own server, which most people don't do because there's no reason for it, unless you want complete and utter control.
Right, because if I have a Gmail account, that means my emails are all being stored permanently on the Google servers. And let's just say I got in trouble with the law, and part of the charges against me require the prosecutor to see my emails.
Yeah, they can subpoena.
They wouldn't break into my house and take my computer. They would just subpoena Google to hand over the all the files of my particular Gmail account. And they would probably have stored not only all of my emails that I ever wrote, but or also all the ones I've ever received. And also, it would not surprise me if Google didn't have all the ones that I deleted somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, not only that, they may also have your location of where you sent it from.
Yeah.
And
I could have been like,
yeah.
he was located. This email was sent through this tower in this city. They would know the general regions where I were.
And if you live near that tower, I mean, it's assumed, and your computer's in that house, it's assumed you probably sent it from your house.
Or if let's say that, like my computer is, I don't have the internet cable directly into it. I'm actually getting my internet into my desktop through my Wi-Fi.
Right.
They would then know, he was on his home computer when he did this because it went through this Wi-Fi or whatever. And a lot of email I send and receive, I do from my phone. Well, that would be the cell phone tower.
Right.
They'd be like, okay, he used a cell phone. So they have all this information. If you were to go out and purchase your own server and wire it up to the internet, just like any other server would be wired up to the internet, you could have your own websites, your own email, and your own everything through your own personal server. You could even sell space on your server, rent it out, I should say. You could rent space on your server. That's what Free Servers was doing. That's why I had to pay them monthly when I had my first website, because I was actually renting space on their server. So Hillary Clinton had her own server, her own email addresses, her own websites, whatever. Having her own possession of her own server allowed her complete control of all that data.
Right. So using a private email address through her own personal server, she emailed back and forth government officials, government work, government documents. She even emailed the president of the United States, not the dictator, but the president of the United States. She emailed him.
When was our last president? I don't know who that was.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I mean, we've lost the presidency.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So Obama was aware of her personal email, although he claims he had no idea. Well, he found out when
everybody else did.
There you go, folks.
When the news released it.
When the news,
yeah. You know, when the president wakes up in the morning and he gets his daily brief, that's called turning on CNN.
Yeah. Yes,
so,
right.
Just FYI.
So all these emails in and out, back and forth, and up and down, and she made a comment. Well, she had a presser this week, and the liberals, Democrats, kept saying that, she was opening and and forthcoming with her information on her presser, and there was things that she wanted to get off her chest because she's a man, and so she did a great job, and the media did its job too. However, come to find out, the people who asked questions were handpicked by her prior. So.
Were they?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a problem.
That was breaking news this week as well.
So those that question her,
Yeah.
were handpicked by her.
Sure.
And they were that is
We've got
conflict of interest. Anybody?
We've got a major problem here with how government officials act, operate. I mean, we had this other story this week with the IRS missing $9 trillion.
Well,
I mean, I'm not getting off subject,
let's
but I'm
not
just
get off
saying,
subject.
I'm talking about government officials completely disregarding any
protocol of
anything whatsoever.
It's like they don't really know, which doesn't surprise me. Did you know they did an interview with Obama's former senior advisor, who I guess stepped down recently, and so there was an interview with him. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. This guy was a total pajama boy. He was in like his 20s when he became the senior advisor to the President of the United States of America. He looked like they plucked him straight from a frat house.
And you know why?
Because he was.
Right, well, that. And when you do that, when you have somebody that new, that fresh, that young, that green, you can literally train them to be what you want them to be.
Sort of. I just think I subscribe to the Rush Limbaugh theory on that, which is that he's going to pick the people that he doesn't need to train. They're already on board. He doesn't have to give the orders.
Right.
He doesn't have to give it. It's just like
Valerie Jarrett, who is his, right-hand man, woman. And breaking news, she's the one that apparently leaked Hillary's emails. She's also deep in the whole Benjamin Netanyahu ordeal when he was coming to speak in front of Congress. She made a comment saying that Netanyahu will pay a price, quote unquote.
That sounds like a threat to me.
Well, yeah, but she gets away with and says the things that Obama wishes he could say.
Right. Well, and that's
there's an article written on that.
That's why he puts those people in place.
Right.
There is no training process. He just has to verify that they've had their proper brainwashing through the mass media, pop culture upbringing of America, and especially the education system, where communism is being ingrained into everybody's head. As long as they've learned it, embraced it, bought into it, and are committed to it, he doesn't even have to give the orders. It's just like when Rush said, you'll never find an order from Hitler gassing or mass murdering Jews. You'll never find it.
Never.
Because he never needed to.
Right.
He put the Nazis in place that he knew were going to do those jobs.
Right.
No orders needed.
No, for no reason whatsoever. And, Lois Lerner, she was put there specifically for the targeting of Tea Party members in the IRS. Her hard drive crashed and lost all her emails. Didn't we just go... Okay, folks, we just went over this. And we talked about this last week, and I am still... I know, Carrie, you explained it to me, but I am still completely beside myself when these progressives say the most asinine things, like I've lost all my emails because my hard drive crashed.
Well, for those of you that missed last week's episode, I'll briefly skim over that. They're either they know their constituency is stupid, or they know they're on board. If they're stupid, they'll just listen to it and say, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." It makes sense that if your desktop fries, you lose all your email because they're stupid, and that's why they believe that. But most people who know that you don't lose your email when your desktop gets fried, when they hear Lois Lerner say, "My desktop's fried, and that's why I have no emails left," those that know that that's total BS, that would support her on that, are just on board with her. Like, yeah, listen to her, man. She's really getting them over now. Yeah. Man, you get them, Lois. You get them, Lois. So that's the nuts and bolts of it.
I don't use it, but what is the email called that Microsoft has on their desktop? There's an email account. I know
Outlook.
Outlook. Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Operation Outlook. So your emails, if you use Outlook and you're like, oh, okay, my emails are all here on my hard drive because I use Outlook. No, I'm sorry, you're not. They can
Outlook
be found.
is just the app that's used. It's an interface. That's
Right.
all it is. An app is short for application. For those of you that aren't really technical savvy, app is short for application. An application is a computer program that allows you to interface with your computer in a certain way, depending on how the application is designed. Outlook is an application that Windows uses. It's a Microsoft product that allows you to organize, create, and review emails that go through the internet and are all on a server.
Right, and so when you open your Outlook app, you will wait a few minutes for it to refresh and then populate
Yeah.
all the emails that are sitting
In a server.
in a server waiting for you to request them.
Out in the interwebs.
It's out there
Back
on
out
the edge.
On the interwebs.
So she said this week that, oh, no. All the emails are automatic. All government emails are automatically backed up.
She just said that this week? I heard that months ago.
Well, it's not true. The State Department this week said, no, back then, high-up officials weren't automatically backed up,
Okay.
but they are now.
Oh, so she conveniently decided when we're going to decide what to tell the public when we started backing up, so that way we can conveniently go to the public and say, oh, yeah, had this happened a week later,
Right.
it would have all been backed up. But since it happened prior to this date, which
Who
was...
knows?
Yeah, it's gone.
So
Technology, man, it's really been coming along.
Right.
But at that time, it just wasn't
there.
the-
Well, and something else that popped up this week, she's claiming that she broke no law in regards to the email. Broke no law in using a personal email account.
Oh, you're talking about Clinton?
Yeah.
Well, you keep bouncing back and forth between Lois Lerner and Clinton.
Oh, we're back to Clinton.
Okay,
Yeah.
back to Clinton.
No, I'm done with Lois.
So she didn't break the law by using a private email on a private server.
Because
They were personal.
the law that was... There was a law, but Obama didn't sign the law until this year.
This year.
Which is 2 years later after she left. So now, technically, it's a law that everybody has...
Well, is her defense that, I was doing all that before Obama signed that specific law, which means I wasn't breaking a law? Is that what her defense is?
Well...
It's kind of like, remember
Let
back
me-
in the 70s, you can go 75 on the highway.
Right.
Then in the 80s, they did the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. If you were going 75 back in the 70s, and then later on they said, yeah, we heard you were going 75, but we all know that it's 55 today. You can't say, well, you were breaking the law, because at the time you weren't.
Right. Well, here's the first few seconds of her press briefing, and she explains to you her defense. And then I'm going to stop it when
I love to
when
hear
she starts
this.
to
Lie.
yeah.
There have been questions about my email, so I want to address that directly, and then I will take a few questions from you. There are 4 things I want the public to know. First, when I got to work as Secretary of State, I opted for convenience to use my personal email account, which was allowed by the State Department, because I thought it would be easier to carry just one device for my work and for my personal emails instead of 2. Looking back, it would have been better if I simply used a second email account
You think?
and carried a second
my
phone, but
goodness.
at the time, this didn't seem like an issue. Second, the vast majority of my work emails went to government employees at their government addresses, which meant they were captured and preserved immediately on the system at the State Department.
Not true.
Third, after I left office, the State Department asked former secretaries of state for our assistance in providing copies of work-related emails from our personal accounts. I responded right away and provided all my emails that could possibly be work-related, which totaled roughly 55,000 printed pages, even though I knew that the State Department already had the vast majority of them.
Not true.
We went through a thorough process to identify all of my work-related emails and deliver them to the State Department.
Okay, she just said we. Now, folks, when she said we,
That's the problem.
went through all my emails and handed over what was work-related.
Yeah, she said it was a thorough process of identifying which ones.
Here's
This is a no-brainer.
Hold on, here's the process. She had lawyers. Yeah, I'm a lawyer. She had lawyers use an algorithm system.
Her lawyers.
Right. Use a system to search and detect which emails were
work-related.
Yeah, which were pertinent, which needed to go to the government. So here's the three.
Well, her words would be which ones were work-related and which ones were personal, and we'll make sure we send all of our work-related ones, and then we won't send our personal ones.
Well, she claimed, her lawyers said this is what they did. They searched for all emails that had a .gov recipient,
which would already be. She just said if it goes to a government entity, whoever she's emailing, it's already on document at that particular department. So if she emails the Department of Defense,
right,
she doesn't need to keep that or even provide it, because if they went to the Department of Defense, they would already have the record on it at the Department of Defense.
They searched government official names, so they decided what names to search.
Which would be any government official, right? Well, if they had a .gov email extension.
I know. It's getting hairy here. So
No, but they're trying to muddy the waters. I've already cut through all the mud and know what to say about this.
And three, they used search keywords like Benghazi, Libya, things like that, blue dress, things like that.
Yeah, because that would definitely be work-related, for sure.
Well, apparently if it happens on the job.
And that's the thing. So they're trying to muddy the waters.
Right. No word on emails to and from her and her private charity of foreign donors. So if it had anything to do with her private charity, the Clinton Foundation, those emails were gone. No, those were not turned over.
But is that government related, or is that personal?
Well, she's got foreign donors donating to her private charity.
Mm-hmm.
Other governments from other government officials.
Which is nothing but a laundering operation anyway.
Of course.
So all that cannot be given over. So that has to be hidden, for sure.
Oh, you're right.
And here's the point. And we didn't get to 4 anyway. Number 1, she opted for convenience to use her personal account because it's easier to use 1 than 2. In hindsight, I wish I should have just used 2. She's literally trying to get people to say, yeah, it's not as efficient, and I don't agree with inefficiency, but, it would have kept you out of hot water.
She's like, I'd have had to carry, and this is what she said, word for word, I would have had to carry 2
devices.
Phones.
Oh,
two different phones.
Oh, my goodness.
So you're telling me, but that's BS right there, because my phone, I have 3 email accounts from 3 different, one's a Google and 2 are GoDaddy accounts, all on my one phone.
Okay. Yeah, so she could have done that.
Yeah.
And even if she didn't know how to do it personally, since she's not in touch with anything, including technology, she could have had any kind of assistant work that out for her.
Some people, they're companies, people that work for large corporations, if you have an email account through your company can actually load your phone with their secured private.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when I worked for the airport many years ago, and the BlackBerry they gave me had.
Are you sure it wasn't a brick phone?
It was a CrackBerry. It's back
no,
when they
no, the big, the 80s brick.
I wasn't alive then.
Oh, okay.
So, no, it was a
Was it
BlackBerry.
a car phone? Was it a CB? Oh, wow.
It was,
Did you have the giant antenna sticking out of the back of your car?
I had one potato phone and one potato camera
Oh, yeah.
glued back to back.
You had two potatoes.
Two potatoes.
Because you worked for the government, and you had to have two different potatoes.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but so the BlackBerry they gave me already had loaded a private, secured email account in the phone specifically for me and only me to the company, and it was only for company messaging. If I wanted to send a personal message to anybody, I would click the other app for my GoDaddy account, my Smith.info account.
Okay.
So I mean, it's that. Really, and this happened. I was doing this back in 05, 06.
Okay.
She got hired on as Secretary of State in 09.
Yeah, but government's always lagging behind in technology. I'm just kidding. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Well, Al Gore invented the internet, though.
Oh, that's right. They should be on top of this.
He should be running this.
He should have been president.
Yep.
Yeah, they stole it. Damn Florida. All right, number 2, vast majority of her emails went to the government so they would be copied at the different facilities. They were already out in the public realm anyway, because the key is vast majority.
Right.
Well, she can't verify that all of her email that went out went to government email addresses. She could have been emailing. She could have used her personal account to email foreign leaders or even other government officials who were using personal email addresses. Like, let's say you and I were both working in the government. Let's say you're the Secretary of Defense and I'm the Secretary of State. I could use this personal address to send an email to, maybe you've got your own personal email address.
Well, funny you bring that up, because they've been asking Obama, does he have a personal email address that he uses?
Well, I would guarantee that he does, but he's going to hold out as long as he can.
The
administration
has been mums on the entire email anything when they ask the administration, does he use personal emails? Does that involve anything to do with work? It's absolutely dead silent, crickets. He did say, well, right here on my BlackBerry. I'll get my BlackBerry right. He uses a BlackBerry. Hold on. Let me stop right there. Let's put the whole show on pause right now, and we'll pick back up.
Break?
When we pick up, we'll pick back up with the SNL skit they did on Hilary.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Man, she's done, by the way.
Okay.
She is done.
But pause. Who uses a BlackBerry?
Well, in his defense, when he got elected, BlackBerry was still pretty hot.
Okay, your sister is the only person I know that held on to that crackberry for dear life.
Her and Obama were the last two customers.
Right, and Obama still has hers, and your sister gave it up.
Oh, she finally ditched it?
She did, yes. When BlackBerry said, "Oh, we'll come out with a touchscreen and a keyboard."
No, Google dominated that market.
It was called a Sidekick, folks, if you can remember, and that happened 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, it was at least
longer.
It was my very second. I did have a crackberry with the little ball in the middle.
They were so popular. No, the touchscreen and the keyboard.
The touchscreen was completely revolutionary, because when I had the crackberry, I think the iPhone or iPod, I don't even think there was such thing as an iPod Touch, but the iPhone was just about to be released. I have to look up the date. I didn't look up the dates, but I'm just going by my own memory. I know iPhone was like brand spanking new. They had the what I thought was revolutionary was that BlackBerry had a full, complete keyboard.
2007
Was what?
iPhone release.
The
initial release of the iPhone.
Gosh, that seems like it wasn't that long ago.
They're saying
No, I'm saying.
the
07.
iPhone.
Like-
iPhone was released on June 29th, 2007.
Wow, I was thinking more like 04, 05 or something.
I was going to go back that far
Yeah,
too.
yeah, 07. That's like pretty recent. So anyway,
6 years.
that's not that long.
No. And my daughter's 7 years old.
You mean before our daughters
7.
or it came
No,
out
8 years. I'm sorry. My math is bad. 07 plus 7 is 14. We're in 15, 8 years ago.
Yeah, but my daughter was born in 06.
Yeah, mine's 08.
So when she was born, iPhone hadn't even come out?
Right.
I'm blown away. But anyway.
So 8 years, folks.
Okay, so before the Crackberry, you would buy these flip phones, and if you wanted to text, you had to click for B, you had to press 2 twice.
The number 2 had to be touched twice.
If you wanted to C, you would touch number 2 3 times.
There's a word that they have for that system.
I didn't know.
Yeah, there's a word for that.
Okay, and that's how you would write your texts out to your friends. And some of them didn't even get text. But anyway, so when the Crackberry came out, it was revolutionary because it was the first thing I've ever seen that resembled a phone, that actually was an actual phone that had a full QWERTY keyboard. It had all. If you look at your computer keys in front of you, like I'm looking right now, that entire keyboard was on the phone. And when I mean it was on the phone, I mean they were clickable buttons, each one of them. And they were so tiny you had to use the edge of your thumbnail.
Oh my goodness!
The edge of your thumbnail.
Fat fingering. That isn't even only a newborn child would fat finger. The buttons were so small.
No, all of them were fat. Every time you touched it, you had to use the edge. In fact, if you clipped your fingernails recently, it was very hard to type anything.
Right.
And in order to scroll the cursor around, you had to roll a little tiny ball that was in the middle.
And if you were on the phone talking to somebody and rolling that ball,
oh my goodness!
We would dude, what are you doing? You're raising scaffolding over there?
It sounded like you were doing. You had a team of carpenters raising up the frame of a house. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. So anyway, that was revolutionary. And I remember when they came out with iPhone, and then Google came out with the Droid. They wanted everything to be controlled via touchscreen. And they knew that wasn't going to fly, and it was a little bit problematic. So they did offer full touchscreen capability, but in order to sell it, they needed to have the ability to have a full QWERTY keyboard also. So the Droid 2 actually slid out a keyboard.
Called a Sidekick.
There you go.
And that was to get everybody on board with.
And I needed that. If it wasn't for the fact that a whole keyboard slid out, because I already had the BlackBerry, I don't think it would have worked. I think that I would have looked at it and said, you know what, I think this might be a nightmare. I don't want to deal with the nightmare. And another thing I was worried about, I was thinking, well, this screen's going to fail. Like, it's going to break, and then what?
Oh.
The whole phone will be completely useless. By the way, I've never seen a touchscreen fail. Even when you break the glass on your iPhone, the touchscreen still works.
And help me out here, folks. I've got this Windows phone made by, saving grace of Windows, made by Nokia.
Okay.
That's Windows saving grace that they actually had a solid phone to attempt to destroy with their software.
Mm-hmm.
I've thrown this thing all over. I've never broken the screen.
Only iPhones break.
Why is it that iPhone people have broken screens?
I think
everywhere.
Clearly, a different company manufactures the glass for iPhone. I know there's a company called Gorilla.
I should have bought stock in them years ago.
Oh,
somebody told me about that.
Do?
They said buy stock in Gorilla Glass.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
you blew it big time.
That Saturday morning with on Fox, Forbes on Fox, Forbes Business News. This is probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
If you saw it on Forbes on Fox, you're about
probably
3
way
years
too
too
late,
late.
yeah.
My dad always said that if you ever see them announce on a major news network to buy a stock, that is when you sell it. And if they say to sell a stock, that is when you buy it.
Except for when they told me to buy Netflix at $65 a share.
Because we probably should have bought that.
Because it's $500 now.
Well, they actually said that on the news.
Oh yeah, one of the commentators, one of the guest hosts.
He really knew what he was doing then.
Yeah.
That's why it is 500 because he told everybody to buy it.
So Obama's using a BlackBerry.
Yeah, so he's got the BlackBerry. I wonder if it's still the original with the ball. Actually, it was called a BlackBerry Curve. Do you remember that? Because I actually had one.
Oh, no. Did I talk you into getting the BlackBerry? We both had a BlackBerry.
I think you talked to my wife.
I talked to her. We both had a BlackBerry at the same time.
That's because I got it for Christmas, and I remember being shocked. My main concern is at the time. That's another paradigm shift. Nobody dared had a phone contract for $100 a month.
No,
that was that only the richest of the rich people would do something like that. But that was because back then, if you bought a cell phone, it was for phone calls only. And nobody, if you were spending $30 a month on a home phone, the landline,
right?
You are not going to shell out $99 a month for a phone that you can keep in your pocket.
Okay. All right, let me give it to you, folks. Hold on.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
In the year 2000, I did a long time ago, folks, or actually 1999, their BlackBerry stock was $1.31.
Okay.
Then fast forward
that was back when they were actually harvesting blackberries.
Before they got to
it was a farm!
Technology.
Yeah, it was a farm.
So just before May 04, it was $119 a share.
Wow.
From $1 to $119.
Well, in the defense of anybody who didn't buy at $1, who the heck thought that they were in 1999?
Right.
Nobody thought that was going.
Okay, so it stumbled, it fell, it was back down in the 70s and 60s, and then all of a sudden, in 07. That's weird. 8 years ago. Well,
interesting.
8 years ago, $230 a share. 8 years ago on the launch
of the
iPhone.
Interesting.
Well, okay. So then let's fast forward to 1 year, July of 07, and we'll fast forward to we'll fast forward to the end of 08. So a year and a half later, it went from $230 a share to $40.
Wow! Anybody that bought it at $230 is hurting.
Okay, that's 08.
Did it ever go back up to $230?
Well, let's fast forward to today. Let's go to sometime this year, 2014, into last year. $9.
Well, if you bought it in 1999, that's 9 times or 8 times more than what you bought it for.
You would have been up. However, if you kept buying on the way up to $230 a share,
you lost your butt.
Now it's down to $9, and apparently, according to today, it's at $9.81.
It's like putting money in a hole.
They're talking about BlackBerry, their rise to fame and their fall to shame so quickly and so high, they're relating it to the flip phone manufacturer. Because the flip phone, I think, holds the all-time record from going from zero to
infinity and then back
to zero.
Yeah.
And so now BlackBerry is 0 to infinity and back down to 0. Almost.
Eventually, if it's not already, TomTom and Garmin probably went down that road.
I can't even, I know you bought one.
Oh,
or, I mean, you have one. I don't know if it's a gift or a present, whatever.
It's pretty much out of commission now because the battery's so old that it won't hold the charge at all. The only way you can use it is if it is actually plugged in. As soon as you unplug it, within 30 seconds, it just blanks out.
Okay, so I know that you've had one for a long time, and it crossed my mind on and off.
Oh, I got every penny out of it.
Okay, good.
It was worth every penny that I spent for it because I had it for several years. And before Google Maps was doing all that navigation stuff, I mean, really, the only way to have a navigation system was either TomTom or Garmin.
Right.
So, anyway.
And now, I mean, if anybody knows, everybody knows. You use your phone. You got the navigation on your phone. Mm-hmm. And I downloaded the maps to my state, and other areas that I travel to on my phone, so that if I don't have service, I still got the maps.
Oh, they should start actually printing those out on large paper, so you can just have it folded up or something. Then you can unfold it if you need to,
right?
And actually, that way you have a hard copy. I think that'd be a good idea. In fact, I'm going to start a Kickstarter right now. You could donate to that idea right now.
We'll call it McNally.
Yeah, that would be good.
Rand McNally.
Where'd you come up with that one?
Just threw it out of the ether. Just grabbed it out of the ether.
Wait. We'll do these large paper versions of Google Maps, and we'll put a bunch of them together and make a hardbound book out of it. And we'll call it, how about Atlas? Okay. After the Greek god, we'll call it Atlas. There we go. Yes. That will be awesome. And that Kickstarter will also be available for you to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to, and you can be a part of the success.
Millions.
The rise of the Atlas.
Right. Well, apparently the biggest users of the BlackBerry are businesses. And if you are in business and you're using a BlackBerry, you might not be in business very long.
You might want to just close your doors now to cut out the middleman.
No good. Oh, BlackBerry Worldwide Mobile OS web browsing. Oh, no.
That's the share of the operating system.
I've been trying to look to see if I could find their users from start to height to back.
That was it. The operating system users.
Oh, so that was it. Okay,
yeah, so look, it says BlackBerry's worldwide mobile operating system web browsing share. So that's their share of the.
Oh, the share. Okay.
Yeah.
And apparently their share almost hit 20% in 2011.
So they had that means 20% of all people using a mobile operating system in 2011. 20% of them were using BlackBerry.
And today, it's 2012, 2013. It doesn't go past. It doesn't go past. Well, January 2012. It doesn't go July 2012. Less than 5%.
In 12, it's got to be even lower than that today.
So 20% in 2011,
and it was going exponential up to it, and it dropped like somebody pulled the rug out from under them. Wow!
Somebody unplugged BlackBerry. What a disgrace! So the reason why I'm beating up BlackBerry
is because the president is married to it.
Yes, and who? Come on, people! The world is laughing at us, and they're laughing at the Pajama Boy president, who doesn't even know that he sounds like such a fool.
Getting back to that Pajama Boy senior advisor.
Yeah.
When he was being interviewed, I wish I had a montage right now. He said the word 3 to 5 times in every sentence.
Oh, wow.
It was like we were doing like this and like that. And I'm like, this guy's a valley girl.
And they probably did pluck him up out of the valley.
Yeah, he was an embarrassment. See, we're talking about this guy had the same role as the Kevin Costner role in the movie 13 Days, which was I can't remember what the guy's name was that he played. The guy for John F. Kennedy. Kenny
Chesney?
No. Kenny was his name.
Okay.
Kevin Costner.
Okay, while you're looking that up feverishly, let me prep the next sound clip.
Good idea.
With Saturday Night Live loves to lambaste conservatives,
yeah,
Republicans. They love to beat up on people they don't like.
Well, no, and here's the thing about Saturday Night Live. They are such an integral part of the education of the low information crowd.
Correct.
The mass, large quantities of young idiots full of brains full of mush out there.
Right.
And when they say something and when they make a skit, especially if it's a funny skit, they have made the policy for politics in America. You know, they're the ones. They make things true that aren't true, and I'll give you an example. They're the ones that said that Sarah Palin said, "I can see Russia from my house." They said that in a skit.
Right.
And ever since they said that, now everybody believes the fact happened that Sarah Palin said, "I can see Russia from my house." Another example, Bush never used the word strategery in his life.
However, Will Ferrell,
who played Bush in a skit where they were making fun, they were parodying the debates back in 2000 against Al Gore. During the skit, the moderator said, "Can you sum up your entire campaign in one word?" And Al Gore's character said, "Lockbox." And when they got over to Bush, who was played by Will Ferrell, he said, "Strategery." And ever since then, people believe that George Bush said that. So that was my point. My point is that when Saturday Night Live speaks, it becomes fact. It's fantasy. It's fakeness. It's no reality whatsoever. It's made up skits that all of a sudden somehow creep into the history of America.
Right.
It's really weird. That being said, Saturday Night Live did a skit. Was that last weekend?
If it's up on YouTube right now, it would have to be last weekend.
At least a week. Not yesterday. It would have had to have been last weekend.
Right.
Because they did some funny stuff one time I was watching, and I decided I'm going to search for it, and I couldn't find it the next day. So it usually takes a couple days for these Saturday Night Live skits to end up getting up there.
Right, and I'm looking at it right now, but it doesn't show.
Are you able to get it, or are we just going to have to describe it?
Oh, no, I've got it. I was looking at season 40, 2015. I don't know, it doesn't have the actual date of when it was aired.
Ah, okay.
But this is SNL.
An actress playing Hillary Clinton.
Yes, we got to make that clear.
Yeah, this is not Hillary Clinton. However, low information voters will... This is going to be the message they're going to get.
Yeah, so pretend that you are a low information voter.
Yeah,
just
pretend
we know
you're not. We know
and you're just hanging out one Saturday night, and you watch, and this is the first skit.
The very first.
That announces...
The one that everybody's watching.
It's got to be the best one. It's got to be the hook to get you to watch the rest of the show.
Right.
There it is.
And now a message from Hillary Clinton.
Good evening. Clinton. Tonight, I'm speaking to you not as Secretary of State or as a senator or as a first lady, but as a relatable woman on a couch. Hello.
Rectal feeding. Rectal feeding.
Recently, it was revealed that while I was Secretary of State, I did not use a government email. I used a personal one, leading many to believe I was hiding scandalous or incriminating emails. And to those people, I'd like to say, nice try. Those emails are clean as a whistle. This is not how Hillary Clinton goes down. I mean, what did you think my email said? Hi, it's Hillary. I really screwed up on Benghazi today. Please. I wasn't born yesterday. I was born 67 years ago, and I have been planning on being president ever since. There will be no mistakes in my rise to the top if I decide to run. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I might not. As you can see, I'm just relaxing at home. But to prove I've done nothing wrong, I've ordered the State Department to release every email I ever sent while in office. So, go ahead. Read them. You won't find jack, Rodham, squat. My work emails are professional, and my emails with friends are innocent and fun. Like this one, a friend wrote to me, "Hey girl, still up for a movie tonight? I heard that new Bradley Cooper one is hot. What do you want to see?" And I responded with, "I want to see myself as President of the United States of America." See? Just fun woman talk. And in emails to Bill, the only thing you'll dig up is a little bit of mature romance. Take a look at this sexy email I sent him on our anniversary. "Dear Sir or Madam, congratulations on your continued marital success. I would like to schedule a sit-down at your earliest convenience. Regards, the office of Hillary Clinton."
That is hilarious.
But I'm not stopping at email. You want to check my Netflix? Go ahead. Nothing to hide. Every day I watch House of Cards from start to finish. I jog in place while watching it like I'm in a Rocky training montage. You want to see my private Instagram account? Sure. You'll find nothing but fun, innocent, carefree pics. Here I am having a blast on a roller coaster. Here's me soaking up some sun. Just a fun beach babe contemplating what her first 10,000 moves as president would be. If I run, who knows? I am. But if after all this people still want someone like Elizabeth Warren to run instead, God bless Elizabeth, Lizzie. I love you, girl. We need more women like you, but it's not your time. It's my time. I have wanted to be president since before I was born. You think I'm joking? Here's the proof. I was a little off on the year, but who can blame me? My brain was just a little speck. What a relatable laugh. And finally tonight I want to address that pesky media who's really crawling up and under that skin of mine. Camera 2, zoom in. I have survived everything that's been thrown at me. Benghazi, Whitewater, the blue dress, having the maiden name Rod Ham. And none of that destroyed me. Music in. So after this little blip, I shall rise again from the ashes like a phoenix, nay, like a Hillary Clinton. And I will ascend to the high office of president and claim my rightful place in history. If I choose to run, I don't know. I don't know. I'm so iffy on the whole thing. And live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Oh, man. And let me tell you something. You don't see this, but her body language was really awkward and creepy.
So stiff.
The
so
picture
harsh.
that she showed of her on the roller coaster, she had a straight face. Everybody around her on the roller coaster.
She was cut and pasted into the picture.
Well,
but
it's, right. But it's her on a roller coaster in the front seat, and everybody around her, including the person in the other front seat, are all hands up and screaming with big smiles, and she's sitting there with sunglasses on and a completely straight face. And it's funny that Saturday Night Live is sending a clear message that to all the low information voters that this woman is extremely awkward, extremely unrelatable, and robotic, and she's really obsessed with the power that they hand you when they give you the keys to the White House.
Oh boy, is she!
Like, they never did this to Bill Clinton. They didn't even do this to George Bush.
No,
they did a lot of bad things to George Bush, but honestly, this is probably the biggest slap in the face of any either current sitting president or potential candidate that I can think of. I don't ever remember him destroying anybody as much. This is a complete destruction of Clinton. There's just no way she's going to survive that skit.
And I mean, and when you say survive the skit, I just...
It's fact now. It is an American historical fact to low information voters that was Hillary Clinton. In their mind.
Yes, of course.
In their mind, that was her. And they're going to remember Hillary for doing the things that I don't even know who that actress was. That's what they're... Same thing with them thinking that Sarah Palin said, I can see Russia from my house, or that George Bush said strategery instead of strategic. And by the way, strategery is not a word. That's what made it so funny. I know these days you can't even do a skit like that anymore.
No,
they're
really
making
can't.
up words. What's that word? Bollocks or whatever.
Well, now I have heard the English use the word bollocks as
bollocking.
Yeah, it's
a rollicking.
This was
rollicking.
Roll, ROL, licking, roll licking.
Yeah, and so we looked it up, and come to find out, it's an adjective, and they were using it as a verb or a noun, whatever it was. It wasn't defined until we looked up in the Urban Dictionary. The point is that this will become a fact to low information voters, and it's going to destroy her. Anybody at all that comes along for the Democrat nomination has got a huge leg up on her now, because they're going to be like, anybody's better than that stiff old lady.
Right. And if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Smith Radio, I have got the video of that Hilary posted up there, so you can go there. It's at the top, right underneath the Smith Radio Hilary Prison Time. And we will get to cannons in Ferguson here in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the TV and the media, the news media, that is what is the information that the majority, well, maybe not the majority, but there is a large portion of Americans that have no idea what they're doing. There's a guy I know who has a bumper sticker on his toolbox at work that says Obama Biden 08. He's proud to display that. And my initial reaction was
I was going to say, is your initial reaction you need a knife or a scraper to I'm trying to help you out. You probably want to remove that, right?
Yeah, I would think. However, because I've seen it so much now, I'm beside myself of how ignorant that this individual truly is. And it's funny because once you get to know him, you realize how stupid he really is.
So to this day, he may actually still defend it.
Well, it's right there on his box. Absolutely. And like nobody will bring it up. Nobody will talk about it. Nobody will bring up politics around it.
Do you have the soundbite of that one video we saw of that lady defending Hillary and her? You don't?
No, I don't. But that was amazing. Yeah, on one of the talk shows, it was a Hillary informant. I mean, Hillary.
A spy.
A Hillary spy. It's one of Hillary's...
it was like a roundtable discussion on one of the news shows, probably either on Fox, CNN, MSNBC, whatever it is. And this woman was doing mental and verbal gymnastics to try to explain why what she was doing was could be explained.
Right.
Like, oh well, she could have used that email address and turned everything over, and I don't know. She had every excuse in the book. But the bottom line is, and we didn't really explain this, and this is we need to probably point this out. What she did was not allowed because you can't give somebody like her in her position the ability to send communications around like that without being able to backtrack and look at everything.
Right.
And you can't give her the option to sift through and delete whatever she doesn't want to be put out public one day. And that's what she's created for herself with her own server.
Right.
So there is no point in defending. It was as if she was saying, well, it's possible that she did have all of this on her private email server and she did everything on the up and up.
It's
but
possible.
The fact
Why
that there's
lend
no way
right.
to verify that.
Not only that, but they will not allow independent, and even Trey Gowdy said it this week, we want an independent, not a Democrat, not a Republican, find a remote independent organization to physically go through the emails and allow them to decide what they think is business or not business.
It won't matter.
And Hilary said, well, you can't do it because everything's been deleted.
Yeah, well, we went through and we made sure. This is basically what she's saying. I have all the emails I've ever made in front of me.
Right.
I came up with an algorithm to filter the emails I want you to see.
Right.
And what I don't give you is what I don't want you to see, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the reason I don't want you to see them is because they're not work-related.
And don't buy into what she's saying this week. She's saying, oh, well, they're emails from, when Chelsea was getting married.
Yeah, the wedding emails.
And they do that on purpose to pull at your heartstrings and distract you because a wedding is a very emotional time. And mother, daughter, family, loving, everything. So that's why she threw out wedding. My emails about the wedding.
You know they had a very rigorous meeting about what should we call the private emails in order to maximize the effect. And they probably said, wedding. Do the wedding.
Right.
It was. They probably had a board, a think tank board, like a whiteboard, where they wrote down all the possible options to use when describing what kind of personal emails we have.
That's why they call it the Clinton machine.
Right. And they probably had this giant team of think tank type people to investigate what would be the most effective thing, and they came up with the wedding, and what were some of the others? I don't even remember, but whatever they came out with, it's very, very carefully choreographed and well thought out.
My love notes
by a large team of very savvy politicians.
Yeah, I don't want you to see the personal love notes between Bill and I.
Sir or ma'am.
That
was hilarious.
So check this out. This is from Investors Business Daily, investors.com, Business Daily. So it's not that I don't necessarily trust it or distrust it, but the information that they put on this website is verifiable. It's really solid, and it's well written. You can just tell, but do your own due diligence, figure it out. It's a good website. Here's what they have to say on this, and this to me is the nail in the coffin. It's just the nail is there on top of the coffin, and they're just waiting for somebody to drop the 400-pound cartoon hammer onto that nail to drive the coffin, and everything 6 foot under with Hilary in it.
Okay.
So, this is what they had to say under transparency. Title of this, if Hillary Clinton signed Form OF-109, she committed a felony.
Ooh, that's already off to the bad start.
Yeah, so, and I'll get to Form OF-109. So they start off, Hillary Clinton insists she did everything by the book, that she broke no laws and heeded all regulations. That book is obviously not the State Department Records Management Handbook. The government's book says that you don't get to keep materials, classified or unclassified, in your personal possession and then get to sift through them at your leisure to decide which ones the government that paid you gets to see. All documents are the property of the government. The State Department determines which ones they will return to you. So as Shannon W. Coffin, a contributing editor at National Review and senior lawyer at both the White House and Justice Department under George Bush, points out a provision titled Removal Procedures. Now, I remember this when we were in the military, and when we both left the military, we had to sign documents saying that the military could come back on you for the next 50 years if it chooses to. You had to sign those things. There's a lot of stuff. When you leave a government position, there is a complete exit thing that happens.
Okay.
So for a whole week, you go through this. It may be longer than that, but you go through the process of leaving. So it's called removal procedures. It requires departing federal employees to relinquish any classified material at the time of departure and to clear the removal through records management officials. Now, what does all this mean? Here's what it means. When Hillary left, upon her leaving, the official who is seeing her out must sign a form called an OF-109, a formal separation statement certifying under penalty of the law the department official has, who's Hillary, surrendered to responsible officials all unclassified documents and papers related to the official business of the government acquired by me while in the employ of the said State Department. So she had to give all that stuff up. And it goes on to say, the employee does not get to determine what is classified or not, what is personal or not. And Clinton saying that she decided what was relevant and irrelevant. She had apparently 65,000 emails, and she turned over 30,000, saying the other 32,000 were irrelevant. That is not her to decide. If an employee violates the terms of the Form OF-109 he or she has signed, because Hillary had to sign that form when she left, that the act is punishable by Section 18 U.S.C. 1000 Criminal Code, which makes it a crime to knowingly and willfully falsely or conceal facts made in statements to federal agencies concerning matters under their jurisdiction. Ergo, federal offense.
So, by her just deciding on her own which ones to see and which ones they can't see is a felony, or does she have to? Do they have to prove that something they didn't give them, that she didn't give them, was something that that she should have given them?
Right. At the very end of it, it says if Clinton signed the Form OF-109, she should be prosecuted.
Oh, okay. So
if she didn't, we need to know why not and who granted her the waiver.
Oh, she needs a waiver to not sign it.
We don't need a felony running for president.
Felon.
Oh,
we don't need a felon.
We don't need a felon running for president. It's a great article.
Well, and she's not convicted of anything yet, so technically she's not a felon yet. But it sounds like she would be convicted of a felony if she was tried today.
Right. And you know how they do sleight of hand with government and stuff.
That
and
was a
things
very
here and
fair
there.
article, by the way. Number one, it had all the you should probably link that to our Facebook, too.
Yeah.
Number one, it had all of the most important facts about the law or laws that she may or may not be violating, and what she could be convicted of, or what it could be a felony or whatever. And also, it was fair because she could have got a waiver, and we need to know if she did and who signed for it.
Right.
There's nothing. Maybe she did, but it doesn't. I haven't heard anything about a waiver. You would think if she did, that would be the first thing that would come out of their mouth. Oh, she did that because she got a waiver, or she didn't do that because she got a waiver. So it's definitely. I think it's a fair article, and they did a. I mean, you don't want to make it look like they're just blasting her because she's a Democrat and they want to blast the Democrats. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that's what that article is good for, but oh well. So, you got some technical difficulties, Mr. Producer?
Got a lockup of grand proportions.
Oh. Well, the more you click on it, the faster it will fix it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We may or may not be on air right now. Are you going to check? We need somebody to call in to verify whether or not we are still on the air. Are you going to check? I think we're still on the air.
All right, fair enough. We'll keep talking until this thing shuts itself down.
Yeah.
See how that goes. So,
well, the thing is okay. So we're still on the air. That's good.
I can't move.
You might want to turn that down.
So I'll turn that.
We got a little bit of a feedback issue here.
Well,
we are broadcasting live and properly and successfully using a computer that is completely locked up.
Yes, it is a
right.
potato-type computer made by Microsoft.
My gosh.
But before we move off of Hillary and no more Hillary, did you hear a 16-year-old girl came out this week in the news, 16 years old, Obama. Clinton. Bill Clinton is her dad.
Oh, wait, what year would that make it?
16, well, 10 years ago would be 05. 10 years ago would be 05.
1999.
99? He was still in office.
No, wait.
He was in office all the way up to 01.
Oh, that's, yeah.
George Bush took over.
2000.
Well, yeah, I mean, the 01. But yeah, 2000 was his last year.
Wow. Wow, that is weird. Yeah, Bush didn't take over till 2001. Wow.
There's a claim right now, currently claiming.
So after, you're telling me, I can't believe it. I want DNA. I want them to be on Jerry Springer, or who's the new one now? Is it Jerry Springer still?
Well, Jerry Springer. Oh, yeah, Jerry Springer's still going live.
No, shut up.
And his, remember the bodyguard, the shaved head, Steve? Steve, the bodyguard, he had a shaved head.
Yeah.
He's got his own show, too.
Oh, come on.
Yes, they gave him a show.
Is it Maury? Who's the one that's real popular now?
Maury Povich is, what a piece he is.
So anyway, we need Bill and whoever this person is, and maybe even Hilary, on this show. And Hilary might resort to that because she's going to go down hard with this felony. Yes. That being said, I want DNA evidence because you're telling me in 1998...
Bro, I saw a picture of her.
This thing, let me tell you something. In 1998, this thing was going totally full bore with the Monica Lewinsky scandal. In 98, you're telling me that in 1999 or 98, because remember you're pregnant for 9 months.
Right. Ooh.
Yeah.
So the woman and her mother.
The mother.
Not Hillary, by the way.
Wait, it's not Hillary?
Because
it could be, right? Theoretically?
No. Well, technically it could be. Yeah. However, Hillary was not showing signs of pregnancy.
Full disclosure, if somebody claims that Bill Clinton is their father, that does not mean that they're claiming that Hilary is not their mother.
Yes.
So we haven't ruled that out yet.
Correct. So a woman was impregnated
probably in 1998
by
right
the sitting president of the United States of America.
Right at the height of the scandal with Monica Lewinsky. At the height. This was the read my lips. No, not read my lips. Let me tell you people something. No, not the new I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. Meanwhile, during that exact same time, he probably got a woman pregnant, some strange woman.
Well, it wasn't strange to him, or was it?
It could have been.
So I saw that if you go to our Facebook page,
you can't
I can't do anything, but go to my Facebook page, and I'm linked through. Anyways, there is the article and a picture of this girl. Dude, it's like looking at my kids and then looking at me.
Well, there's a picture of Chelsea Clinton. What are we looking at here? I want to see this picture now because I haven't seen her.
Well, go to Facebook.
Is that her?
Go to Facebook.
Oh, Facebook. Okay, I'll go to Facebook. Oh, I'm not even signed in.
Let's just sign in. Or sign in using me then.
We're still on air.
Okay, dude, what happened?
All right, you talk.
So,
you keep
the picture of this girl is I wouldn't. It looks like a better looking, like a really cute looking, better looking Chelsea. It's not Chelsea.
Yeah,
because she's kind of a little ugly.
So you narrowed it down to women better looking than Chelsea. I mean, that's a huge population of people.
Oh, what? But have the father of Bill.
Oh, you mean actually kind of look like Chelsea, but better looking.
Right, and she looks like...
You narrowed it down to maybe a couple 100,000.
She looks like Bill. Oh, yeah, because Bill may be the father.
Oh, that's right.
A couple
100,000. Right, that is true.
And in case you don't know, Bill has a very insatiable appetite for sex. And I'm not saying it's man, woman, whatever. Apparently he does. And after he was, there's a story that was after he was in office, there was a billionaire who asked him to go speak around the country and do different shows and things like that.
What should I be searching for?
Go to my Facebook page.
Oh.
And he said, I'm gonna fly you around in my private jet. We're gonna fly you all around, all around America, and you're gonna give speeches to different places, and we'll just do a little tour. So he said, okay, fair enough, I'll do it. Within 30 to 60 days, the billionaire pulled his ship, pulled his airplane, and literally fired Clinton from the whole ordeal because he was using his plane as a flying sex hotel.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, so it's just unbelievable. Yeah, we'll get to her in a minute. There she is.
I don't know.
Dude, that's Bill Clinton right there.
And how would she know?
Well, click on the article, which I was attempting to do before the lockup occurred.
First of all, this is on teaparty.org. I don't believe. Anyway.
No, they're reporting on World News Daily.
Oh, World News Daily is reporting a 16-year-old girl has presented a paternity action lawsuit this morning before an Arkansas state court, alleging that the former president of the United States, William Jefferson Clinton, is her biological father.
Okay, two things right there. One, a paternity action lawsuit. Mm-hmm. If you're going to come to the table with a paternity action lawsuit, you're going to be prepared to submit blood.
Okay.
Blood work, DNA.
Okay.
Okay, so she's not going to do this, not willing to submit
so she's
to a test.
To.
Right. And secondly, it's in Arkansas.
interesting. So
Where-
she's in the right location. No, she's not.
The right
she
locale.
needed to be in D.C. He was president at the time.
Well, no, he probably called up.
Or does he live there now? Does he live in Arkansas?
Oh,
now?
he's jet setting all over the place.
He's just he lives everywhere. He's
Yeah.
the world president.
He
He is the first black president.
This is true.
That is true.
But no, that just because she's at Obama, Clinton is from Arkansas. He was there, the governor
Yeah.
of Arkansas.
Yeah.
Just because he wasn't governor then, I mean, he's got massive ties to the state. His whole family and everybody. He would
Okay.
go there on vacations and picking people up.
Well, her name is Alyssa Gilmore, and she claims that her mother, a former secretary of the Oval Office.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Ding, 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 ding!
What?
Ding, 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 ding!
This is obvious. Yes, she is definitely his daughter. We don't even need blood anymore. We don't need blood. Her name was Whitney Gilmore, the mother. She had an affair with President Clinton between 1998 and 2001. She says she was born out of that relationship and demands that Mr. Clinton undergoes a paternity test to prove that her story is true. I know Bill Clinton is my father, says the young girl. I have many pictures of my mother and him, and I know they were in love. They all say that. We were in love.
Monica claims,
Monica says she still loves him.
And you know what
Every day.
what he did to that woman? He destroyed.
Man.
He has destroyed.
She was
literally
practically a high school girl.
destroyed that woman's life. Was she even old enough to drink?
At the time? I
Yeah.
don't think so. No, she was like
20-ish?
Well, she was an intern. So, like, fresh out of high school or maybe still
College?
in high school?
A couple of years ago,
something like that,
19, 20-ish.
We'll have to look that
And
up.
Bill Clinton
She's
was
like
a-
90 now. I don't know.
He is a predator and should be listed on the sex offender registry.
Well, Alyssa says, I know Bill Clinton is my father, says the young girl. I have many pictures of my mother and him, and I know that they were in love. He even gave me presents for Christmas and my birthdays when I was a kid before he left my mother. Ha!
What? Before he left her?
I guess they were together.
But hold on, whoa, whoa, whoa. In 98, he was married to Hilary.
They're still married. I think. I mean, well, sort of. It's just a big show.
What do you think about that whole story?
It's called political theater.
That Hilary is not into men. And this is a casual relationship between the two of them.
Oh, you think... Wait. Hillary and Bill have a casual relationship?
Well, it's a political relationship.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they even like each other.
So from things that you've seen and stuff that you've read, there's validity to the fact that maybe...
First of all, have you seen Bill and Hillary together in the past, 6, 7 years?
No, I haven't.
8, 9 years? I mean, honestly, I don't think I've seen them together since he was president.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Maybe even the campaign of 96.
And now here's the thing. Yeah. Now here's the thing, folks. I don't care that he's got a child out of wedlock. That is not my beef. That's not my problem. My problem is that he was president of the United States messing around in the Oval Office with other federal employees. It got one pregnant.
But if you're an unpaid intern, you're not really an
I'm talking about this.
employee.
Well, this one.
Yeah, no, that was her mother. The mother. This is just the daughter born out of that relationship.
Right, but the mother was a paid secretary, federal employee.
Listen how sad this is, though. He even gave her presents and birthday when I was a kid, even before he left my mother. I have spent many years writing him letters and calling him, hoping he would come back in my life. This is so sad. He has left a daughter without a father for the most part.
But this is not the only life he has destroyed.
Yeah, at first he would write back, and we spoke on the phone regularly, but he doesn't even answer anymore. I just want him to take his responsibilities and recognize that he is my father, that's all. You know what? She just kind of hurt her credibility saying that. I just want him to take responsibilities and recognize that he's my father. Sounds a little bit selfish. Wouldn't it be more like...
At 16 years old, you probably are a little selfish.
Maybe.
And jaded, certainly.
Yeah, because I can't put myself in her shoes. But wouldn't you say in her situation, I just want my father in my life.
Right. Right. At 16, sure.
Not. I want him to recognize that he is my father. Once he does that, I'm done with him. I mean, is it? I mean, it seems like I'm kind of reading a little bit into that, but anyway,
that is a weird statement. I'll agree with you.
Weird,
that is kind of weird.
The judge of Arkansas State Court rapidly decided that Miss Gilmore had enough evidence to support her demand and announced that the presentation of the evidence will begin on March 19th. Bill Clinton wasn't present at the courthouse this morning in Little Rock.
That's 4 days from now, by the way.
Yeah. But he met the media less than an hour after the judge's decision in Washington. Mr. Clinton denied having an affair with Mrs. Gilmore or being the father of the teenage girl. Now, I mean, I don't know how old her mother was at the time or what her relationship status was with anybody. But, I mean, she could have went to a bar. I mean, you don't know these people. Anything could have happened.
Well, she said that she worked for the White House.
Oh, no. She definitely has... I need to see a side-by-side picture of this girl with Bill.
Look at that nose. Look at those eyes.
Yeah.
She looks melancholy.
Wait, let me put some words in her mouth. I want to say one thing, and I want to make it real clear. I did not have a sexual relationship
with that woman.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Oh,
Whiskey,
wow.
whiskey. Is that inappropriate? I'm just trying to...
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
You'll have to look her up. Just look up Alyssa Gilmore. And, it's so sad that you have a daughter out there that has friends that have dads in their life, and here she is. She might have an abusive stepdad at this point.
Oh.
Just who knows?
We all know how that goes. Not good.
You may be beating on me, but my real dad is the president of the United States, more powerful than you'll ever.
Shut up! Oh, wow. Yeah, that could happen. That could happen.
I don't know. Feel bad. Of course, I wouldn't feel bad if I found out that she was just making this all up and it was a big publicity stunt.
Well, everything's against Hillary. She's running, and Obama's destroying all of the Democrats.
Interesting.
So that we talked about this earlier.
Okay, so let's put our tinfoil hat on real quick.
We got to, because we don't want the government seeing what we're thinking.
She's 16 years old.
Yep.
I am sure she didn't just now wonder. She says right in her thing in this article that they used to write and talk on the phone, and then that stopped happening, and he won't talk to her anymore. And just now, when they're trying to destroy Hillary, just now, this is making news?
That made news this week.
And she's just now going to the Arkansas judge demanding a paternity test and demanding... I'm thinking, okay, maybe this really is his daughter, but the timing is very convenient for those who would want to destroy Hillary.
Right.
Interesting.
And so I think the people that are attempting to destroy Hillary are Barack Hussein, insane, Obama, because if he can destroy Hillary, then what happens? He'll destroy the next one, and the next one, and then there is nobody running on the Democrat Party.
We here at Smith Radio have formulated a theory that if he can convince the public that there's not a better Democrat to run than him, that they would either A, let him run for a third term, or B, accept the abolishment of the presidency so that he could rule as dictator until he dies, in which case he would hand down the throne to the next of kin, effectively making this a monarchy, I guess, or dictatorship of like Kim Jong-il dropped down to Kim Jong-un, and just becomes this big family affair of the new communist utopia of America.
And just to add to the whole Clinton escapade, Bill Clinton, since he's left office, which has been a while, I mean, 01, you're talking 11, 14 years ago, So he's been gone for 14 years. Mm-hmm. According to reports, he's made more than $106 million in speaking fees alone since 01.
Some of that should probably go ahead and be given in child support, I would think.
Right.
And how many? The thing is that may sound like a lot of money, but if you have a couple 100,000 kids, I mean that leaves only about a couple dollars per kid.
Split. So this was reported by Fox News. Bill Clinton has received nearly $16 million in taxpayer funds since leaving the White House, covering everything from his pension to his personal benefits, and renewing questions about how much taxpayers really should spend on ex-presidents.
Exactly. I mean, okay, give them Secret Service and all that kind of stuff, and protection, and make sure they don't live in poverty.
Right.
But that's not going to happen. If you were president, you're going to earn hundreds of thousands of dollars in one day for speaking fees.
Right. And he was given a $15 million advance for his book in 08 called Memoirs. It was a record paying advance at that time, not anymore. And then Hilary got a $14 million advance last year in for her book, as well as $12 million in personal income, according to Bloomberg. And why do I bring all this up? Because just recently she was saying they were in tough times. These are the richest of
she was
folks.
Out of her mind.
Listen,
she was out of her mind.
These politicians are the richest of the elite. They are the elitist. They are the top one. They're the top half percenters in the world. In the world, these are the richest people in the world. I'm not talking about big businesses and tycoons and people who run Microsoft or run Google. And I'm not talking about those people who provide jobs, who help the economy, the American engine run, to provide food on the table, to provide jobs for people to take care of their families. No, these are politicians who do what? Try and destroy America.
Yeah, if they're destroying America, they should be, first of all, stopped and then punished for whatever wrongdoings they did. However, I don't have a problem with somebody using their life experience to use the capitalist system to earn money off of people who are willing to pay them for services such as speaking in front of a large audience, or just motivating people in general, or teaching them through training or whatever. And that's what you're doing when you're up there speaking to a large audience. You're either motivating, training, or whatever it might be, and your clout, because of your experience as president, is going to be worth a lot of money, and you deserve that.
Right.
But what's the point? If we can say with certainty that the President of the United States, when they are out of office, is going to be able to earn hundreds of thousands of dollars at the drop of a hat anytime they decide to do a speaking engagement, then why are we shelling out so much money for all the other stuff, such as just a pension?
Right.
I mean, plus, aren't they allowed insider trading? I mean, they're going to earn millions off of that anyway.
Breaking news from James Rosen of Fox News. Hackers probing Clinton servers, cite security lapses.
Oh, and that's key. And why is that key? Because she was using a personal server in order to have government documents, some of which, we're not sure or not, but some of which may have been documented as secret or top secret or sensitive information, and that's why they're supposed to be on military or government servers, not personal servers. And so it becomes a possible breach of security by having government documents on a personal server, and by breaking news that hackers were able to get into her server.
A determined band of hackers, IT bloggers, and system analysts have trained their specialized talents in state-of-the-art software on ClintonEmail.com, the domain in which Clinton established multiple private email accounts and uncovered serious lapses in security. Yeah. Whew. Man.
And that's why she's going to end up getting convicted of a felony.
Right.
Because these are the reasons why it's illegal. And hopefully if justice prevails, she'll do some time.
Right. Oh, well, and there's a whole bunch that I wish would do time. But anyways, we could segue, if you want, we segue over to Ferguson real quick.
Yeah, we got to go right over to Ferguson because we might cut
short tonight.
Yeah,
I think so.
And really, it's been kind of a slow week. The big things this week were Clinton, which we definitely beat that one into a pulp. And the other one is going to be we had some protests in Ferguson. And the protests were spurred on by the fact that the judge ruled that they're just not going to charge an innocent man with a crime unless there's some sort of evidence against him.
And the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, the criminal as he was, had to drop all charges against the cop.
And I'm sure that just crushed him. To not be able to convict or try or charge an innocent white man with a crime he didn't commit is something that's going to haunt Eric Holder for the rest of his life.
Remember, he said, as he was leaving, he's on the way of going out. There's somebody else that's going to be replacing him. But he said to the American people, my advice is to read Malcolm X's book.
Yeah, and the thing about Malcolm X is he wanted to advance civil rights, social change, or whatever, through violence. And so we don't really subscribe to that, and we don't condone that in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, so over in Ferguson, protests obviously erupted, and for the most part, from the there was a witness that was interviewed. Turns out, he claims that it was largely pretty much peaceful. And what happened was things were winding down. The protest was ending. Right. He actually said the protest was dying. He was this witness was just talking to a cop, and all of a sudden, as things were closing down and everybody's leaving, shots were fired, and one cop was hit in the shoulder, and the other cop was hit in the face.
Okay, he was hit in the face with what?
Well, the report was that he did have the riot gear helmet, and the plastic face shield that goes down, kind of like you see them all the time.
Right.
He had it up, so I guess there was no threat currently. There was no worry of anything being thrown because you would have it down.
Right.
But he had it up. They were probably getting ready to go home. The protesters were leaving. Things were winding down. He had his helmet up. All of a sudden, shots fired. One goes through the shoulder and exits the back of one man. Another enters the... are we good still, technically? Okay. The other one hits the cop with the shield up in the cheek just below his eye, and it gets lodged behind his ear. And the news today is that the cops now have captured a 20-year-old man charged, and they charged him Sunday with shooting the two police officers. So that is the big. His name is Williams. They're charging this man Williams.
Apparently, he was firing a 40-millimeter cannon.
Well, according to AP, McCulloch, who was the officer, said that Williams used a 40-millimeter handgun. And now, there's a lot of people out there, Brian, and Brian's laughing, and I just was beside myself when I read that. Okay, so handguns come in various sizes, and the size is based on the diameter of the round. And so, if you ever heard of a 9mm, what that is it shoots bullets, where the actual bullet itself is 9mm in diameter.
Right, which is fairly...
That's about a medium size, like a really small.
So diameter in inches.
No,
would be...
Right. Well, hold on. A 9mm would be 9mm.
Okay, so convert that to inches.
Well, I don't even know what that is, but like a 22. Have you ever heard of a 22?
Yeah,
a 22 is a .22 inches, so it's less than a quarter in diameter. So a 22 is a very, very small
I would
gun.
think a 9mm would be more around a quarter inch, maybe 3.
Well, if a 22 is a quarter inch, a 9mm is probably
3/8? No,
bigger.
No.
It's
3/8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, a big round, a really big, like the biggest handgun that you can buy, is a 50 cal, which would be like a Desert Eagle.
Right.
Giant! And they call it 50 cal because that's .5 inches.
It's a half an inch in diameter.
That's a giant gun. Huge. 50 cal Desert Eagle is giant. Now, when you get into the more military-grade weaponry, I mean large military, if, for example, in the aircraft attack type aircraft like an A-10,
right.
they call it a tank killer.
Right.
Because the gun mounted on the front, which is a Gatling gun, is able to fire bullets that will pierce through the armor of a tank.
We used to take the shells of those in the military, and we would turn them down and make them into shot glasses. So it's the size of a small shot glass, but it's the size of a shot glass.
That's the shell.
Right, the
that
shell
holds the gunpowder.
Right, and the bullet sits on top of that powder.
Yeah, the bullet that goes in it is 20 millimeters, which would be a little bit less than an inch, because an inch is 25 millimeters.
Yeah, 25. Actually, technically, it's 25.4.
Right, 25.4 millimeters is an inch. So a 20 millimeter giant round. I mean, these are huge. If it were to hit you,
so maybe like 7/8 of an inch. 7/8.
Yeah, it's almost an inch. So if an A-10 shot at you, even one round, it would probably tear like a basketball-sized hole in your body because it would blow out.
Oh yeah,
back.
if it hits you right in the middle, dead center of your chest, it might split you in half.
It could. If it hit you just right, it could split you in half. And we're talking basketball-sized exit wound here.
Okay. Right.
This AP report
hold on.
claims...
Elephant guns.
Well, did we figure out what that was?
Yeah, elephant guns are half an inch.
Okay.
That'll take down an elephant.
Right, and that's a 50 cal then, a half inch.
Right.
And sniper rifle, they use a giant, the shell is huge, but the bullet itself is a 50 cal.
Okay.
But it has a lot of powder behind it.
So that it can go further distance-wise.
Right. This article claims that he used, I'm reading it right here, McCulloch said Williams used a 40 millimeter handgun, and then, comma, which matches the shell casings at the scenes. And I'm like, these are like the casings for that would be the size of a small baseball bat.
Right?
Yeah, like
yes. And very long too, to be able to
like about a
projectile.
Take a baseball bat, like an aluminum baseball bat, cut it almost in half, maybe a little bit bigger than a half of a aluminum baseball bat. Take the larger half of that, and that's the casing for a 40 millimeter.
So
this
you fill that baseball bat all the way up with gunpowder,
and then jam a 40 millimeter. And by the way, these things are heavy.
With solid
lead. It would be like maybe a brass casing or a copper or whatever surrounding a lead bullet, 40 millimeters in diameter. And so I read that and I was like, wait. The way they describe this is that it shot in the right cheek just below the eye, and the bullet lodged behind his ear. Then they go on to say it's a 40 millimeter. Could you imagine a 40 millimeter?
So he literally has a half a baseball bat lodged in his
No,
face.
the casing.
The bullet. Okay, the
bullet
round.
itself would be 40 millimeters, which is what?
Inch and a half.
A little bit more than an inch and a half.
1.57. So
yeah,
it's like
so
inch
it's
and a half,
almost
over
an
inch
inch
and
2/3.
Right.
Almost an inch and 2/3 in diameter. The length of this thing would probably be, I don't know, it's got to be 4 inches or so. Right. I mean, it's long. It's like a long missile. Imagine that entering your cheek and getting lodged in your ear. And just
stick it there.
It might be sticking out of the front of his face still.
This is larger than the tank killer.
Oh, double! The tank killer is only 20 millimeters.
So how did his face stop it?
Well, he might have you know how a boxer when you punch him,
And you go with the flow.
You turn with the punch. Well, no, what was the movie Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
He caught a bullet in
With his
teeth.
teeth.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, when he caught it, and if you look at the behind the scenes, they actually did this. They
Right.
shot a bullet at him.
Okay.
And he caught it. But the way you catch it is you jerk your head in the same direction as the bullet traveling.
Right.
So that when you catch it with your teeth, the difference in velocity is not as much.
Which is like Bugs Bunny when he's falling out of the sky in a telephone booth. He opens the door, and just at the right precise moment that it hits the ground at 1,000 miles an hour.
Well, then the terminal velocity is probably more like 200.
Okay.
Maybe 150.
Okay. He steps out of the falling telephone booth onto the flat ground.
Oh, as long as you're stepping out, you're good to go.
Right, because he's not falling. The telephone booth is falling.
Yeah, sort of, I guess. There's might be a little bit of a physics problem
So if
there.
you're in an elevator next time...
Well, no,
and
I
you're-
was thinking if you jump. If you're in an elevator and you know when it's going to hit,
Yes,
and
you
jump
up.
as hard as you can.
Yes.
Then
We
you
would do this as kids.
Yeah, and what you would happen was, in theory, you would actually be jumping from going fast to slow,
Right.
and maybe it would save you.
But they say the amount of energy needed, it's
No.
just not... It could.
No.
It would be like an ejection seat for a fighter pilot. It could break your
Well,
back.
if you want to talk physics, which I like to do, the amount of force required when you're in a falling elevator to get you from going the speed of the elevator...
Say it's
to-
going 200 miles an hour down.
Well, no, it's accelerating, because
Okay.
as you fall, you're accelerating. The amount of force required to get you in the elevator from going with the elevator to stopped would be equivalent to the amount of force it would be in order to jump from the ground to the top of the building.
Really?
Yeah, the exact amount. That would stop you.
Oh, wow.
So if I was in the elevator falling, and let's say there was no roof, there's no ceiling on the elevator.
Okay.
As soon as I got to the bottom, and I jumped as hard as I can to where I was actually stopped as the elevator crashed, the exact same amount of force, if I were to do that next to the elevator on the ground, would launch me to the top of the building.
Okay, so if you have the ability to jump from the ground to the top of the building...
Then you could survive by jumping when the elevator
Oh,
got to the
man.
bottom. Yeah, you could survive that.
I don't even think the ejection seats don't even do that.
No, you wouldn't survive. I
It
don't
would
even think-
kill you. You
No.
know, they say if you eject from a fighter pilot ejects, I think more than if he ejects twice.
I think you're
he can
grounded
never
for
fly
life.
again.
Yeah, I think it's twice.
Yeah.
If you do it a second time, and it's because of the compression of your spinal column.
And they say that even the second time you do it, you might not even die.
Well, actually, any time you eject from a plane, you
Yeah.
could die. They.
Well, you saw Top Gun, right? Goose?
Well, that's
He hit the canopy, though.
Yeah, the canopy. You gotta watch
Wouldn't
out for
open.
the- Yeah, you gotta look out for that.
Meg Ryan, she was cute back then. It was before all the surgery.
She had surgery.
Plastic surgery, she looks like a monster.
She looks like a catcher's mitt.
From 1919, an old
Oh, it was
leather
Babe Ruth's,
catcher's
and he
mitt.
wasn't even a catcher.
Oh, man.
Wow,
Whew, where did that one go?
we went off the rails on that one.
So,
Back to Ferguson.
back to Ferguson.
So it turns out, just FYI, I have to correct AP for you guys, unless you would have been able to correct it on your own. There is no flippin' way he was shot with a 40 millimeter, because if he did, because the reports were that you could hear bang bang from the gun and a muzzle flash.
So
what-
what would
Yeah.
what would the muzzle flash look like on a 40 millimeter?
Well, it would be like you would notice it. That's for sure. You'd be like, "Whoa, what's that flash?" But also, the report would sound something more like this. And then you would hear the shell hit the ground. Ding, 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 ding. That's what it would sound like.
And they say they found a cannon-sized shell.
I mean, they did say which matches the shell casings at the scene. So they must have found this giant can on the ground, if you will, this big cylinder brass about the size of a baseball bat. So
the Mike Brown's mother spoke up this week.
Oh boy!
They found her under a rock somewhere and pulled her out from underneath that long enough to give a statement, and she said, "F bleep those two cops," and then the statement, which I had it in a soundbite and I'm locked out, was
no sound bites.
Ain't no fun when a rabbit's got the gun.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I must be really behind the times. I never heard that saying. Apparently, it's a pretty popular saying.
It originally refers to a hunter hunting the rabbit, like in Bugs Bunny.
And if you have the gun, you have a huge advantage over the rabbit.
Correct.
But then it ain't no fun if the rabbit's got the gun.
When Bugs Bunny obtained the gun and pointed it back at Elmer Fudd.
Right.
Yeah, that was no fun for Elmer Fudd.
Well, and the reason I never heard that saying is because that phrase, I don't think has ever been uttered in the cartoon. Because we grew up on the Looney Tunes and all that stuff.
Oh, I would certainly know. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So, and I don't like that kind of characterization of the black race, if that's what we're talking about, or any minority group of any kind, because you're literally referring to yourself or comparing yourself to prey.
Right. She is, by saying ain't no fun when rabbit's got the gun, she is saying she is the rabbit and being hunted.
She's being hunted, and also you're referring to white people or cops. It would probably be a little bit more accurate. I'll just say cops. And it's funny because they never talk about cops as being black, which there are a lot of black cops out there.
Right.
Unless, if they do and they have to, they try to ignore it and act like there's no such thing as a black cop.
Right.
But if they have to acknowledge it, then they'll just say, well, it's just an Uncle Tom.
Right.
But I don't, to sit there and call cops hunters, hunting rabbits, and by rabbits we mean black men, it's just sickening.
Right.
It's just really sickening.
Dana Loesch, who has a talk radio show, she was... Oh, now I got to lock up on my phone.
No.
I'm all over the place.
Are we still on the air?
Yeah. So she has a radio show, and in her radio show, she made a controversial comment. I can't quote her, but her comment was on Thursday when this went down that all police officers should walk off the job until they get the proper support from the government, from other, from the police officers that are doing their job need the support of the people, need the support of this administration. They need that kind of support. There's a big problem out in L.A. where the chief police officer was in bed with the mayor and the local newspaper, and if anything went bad, he would throw his own law enforcement under the bus. And cops in L.A., you want to talk about no respect.
Well,
cops in L.A.,
they've been portrayed as people that break the law, and they, you know what? It's been proven that they did. And so they kind of did it to themselves. But the problem is what liberals try to do, and they do this with everything, is they try to show an example of something that they believe in or that they want you to believe in. And they'll show that example and say that's how it is across the board. So they'll take LA cops or whatever and say these guys are corrupt, these are bad, and here's the proof. They really are. Okay? Let's say they are. And they were back in the day, or back in the 70s or 60s or whatever. And then they say that's what cops are everywhere across the board. They're racist, they're corrupt, and all that stuff.
Right.
And they'll do it with everything. Southerners or white people in general. This is what some very small minority group of white people did long before any of us were born. Therefore, they are racist, and they want to do this, and they continue to do this, and they do this.
Right. She said on Twitter, she tweeted, every single cop should walk out walked straight off the job. Blue flu enough. Hashtag Ferguson.
Who said that?
Dana Loesch. She called it blue flu.
I've been saying that for weeks. Didn't I say that about, several months ago when we were doing our show over the summer?
You said blue flu?
No, I didn't say blue flu. I said that all the Ferguson cops, cops across the nation, I believe. Where's the soundbite of us talking? I said that cops should go on a strike. Everywhere. They should all strike. They should say, we are not going to work every day under these conditions that the media has created for us.
Right.
Because it's dangerous. I mean, if if my wife was a cop, I'd say, you know what? I don't want you to go to work tomorrow, and if they fire you for that, it's probably a good thing.
Well, and if you look at all the police officers, and don't get me wrong, I've had my fair share of run-ins and problems with cops, but for the most part, the majority of all the cops I've ever come into contact with, I've always been polite to them. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. No, sir. I mean, it just kicks in naturally. No, I'm not kissing up. No, I'm not sucking ass. I'm not just being very respectful.
And you don't have to go that far. All you have to do is not try to run away from them, and then when they try to chase you, you do a 180 and try to attack them.
Right. There's a matter of fact, there was a homeless. That's what it was. I'm remembering these articles as we speak. Even though my computer's locked down, I am not. Out in L.A., 2 cops shot a homeless guy.
Oh, okay.
Killed him. He's dead. And the report was the homeless guy attempted to get the cop's gun from him.
Yeah, but wouldn't they? That's the same thing as sprinkling crack on somebody after you kill them. You can just sprinkle crack on them. Hey, crack it.
Oh, if you put it in their hair.
It's on his sprinkle crack. He's a druggie. Whatever. Well, I mean,
we said there was another cop there that witnessed it.
Oh, of course they did.
So now we got 2 corrupt cops claiming the homeless man reached for his firearm. My whole point is, if you don't want to die by a cop, don't screw around with a cop. Don't even be near him. If a cop tells you, "Hey, boy, get out of the middle of the street,"
if a cop says, "Boy, you ain't from around here, are you?"
You got problems.
Yeah, we got
even that. Oh man, I was 19.
What about Buford T. Justice?
If you gave him due respect, dude, he would go on his way. I mean,
do you know who I am?
I do, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes,
we
sir,
do need some sound bites.
No, but the worst run-in I ever had with a cop was in Kentucky with Ohio plates, and he's like,
boy,
he was doing 54.5 miles an hour on the freeway, and I had on cruise control at 56.
Ooh, yeah, you were breaking the law.
Everybody refused to pass him, and so I'm creeping at 1 mile an hour faster.
Right.
I'm edging in front of him. All of a sudden, as soon as I get in front of him, lights go on, the sirens go off. And he came up to me and said, "Boy, you don't ever pass a police officer."
You know what I was saying?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were a pace car.
Yes, exactly.
Because you're not supposed to pass a pace car.
Right.
I mean, if you were going exactly 55 and I kind of blew by you at maybe at least 5 miles an hour over your speed, minimum, I could see you being upset.
I almost blew past a cop earlier
today
on the freeway. Everybody was traffic jam. Everybody's jamming. I couldn't figure it out. But the slow lane was wide open all the way up.
Ooh, okay.
So I hit it and get it.
Yeah?
All of a sudden, as soon as I started coming up, I crept going past a tractor trailer and looked off, glanced to the left. We was following a cop. Slammed on the brakes. Got the steering wheel and I'm sliding around. I slid past him, then slowed down behind him, and so I'm okay. Nothing happened, but
he may not have noticed.
Probably not.
He was too busy texting.
There was a comedian that said that. Said a cop pulled him over for texting while that police officer has an open laptop in his car.
Well, they all do.
Well, but
they're emailing.
Right.
They're surfing the interwebs. They're watching YouTube videos.
Did you hear about that famous basketball player? He was drunk, on drugs, watching a porno and taking care of himself.
He was grooming
himself, all while driving his car and wrecked into the back of a parked car.
Ooh, that's embarrassing.
And how did the news and everybody find out he was doing all that? Because he told them.
Oh, yeah. You might want to go ahead and
plead
turn
the
off.
fifth.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to incriminate yourself.
That's something else too. If you get pulled over by a cop and he says, "Where are you going?" or "Where have you been?" Sir, that's not inappropriate. I refuse to answer.
It's none of your business.
Right. Well, you could say it's none of your blip 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 blip.
Yeah, that's combative.
You could do that.
You could be a little bit more polite
about it. Or you could say, "Sir, I respectfully wish not to answer that."
Why not?
Because it's my Fifth Amendment right of the Constitution to not incriminate myself.
Because I may or may not have been breaking the law. In which case, telling you where I was or was not may actually be incriminating myself, which I have the right to not do according to the Fifth Amendment.
And if you feel you need to continue to question me, I should need to use lawyer.
Yeah, which you are also have the right to do.
Absolutely.
So if you want to read my Miranda rights or charge me with something and arrest me now, that's cool.
Well, they have to have probable cause.
Right.
Do you have probable? Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And the thing is probable cause definition could vary from cop to cop.
It's
depending
loose,
on,
but it literally.
My favorite is I smell alcohol.
Really?
Because if
alcohol
he really
has no smell.
It doesn't.
Alcohol is odorless. Alcohol does not have a smell.
That's news to me.
No, he's smelling all the other stuff that is in the beer. He smells the beer.
What about hard liquor?
Well, he smells those ingredients.
What about Everclear?
Nope. Everclear is almost odorless.
Well, then I'm drinking that from now on. Not just kidding. In the car, in my flask.
Well, apparently,
sir,
high school kids are using that rectally.
All right, so if you have a flask that's closed, it's a flask. It's in your cup holder, okay? And it's closed. Is that probable cause for drunken driving?
Wow.
I'm getting in gray area here.
That I don't... Well, he could ask, what is that?
I'll say it's corn syrup.
What's in there?
Lots of high fructose
corn syrup.
I mean, it's Kool-Aid, yeah.
It's Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me see that.
Sir?
You need a warrant.
You need a warrant to reach in this car. Am I being charged with something?
That's another thing, folks. Only open your window 1 inch.
Because your breath
and do not open the passenger any other window. All of them are closed. Your only window 1 inch open.
Mm-hmm.
He'll demand that you roll it all the way down so that he can smell and get involved with what's going on in there.
Get his head all in there.
Retch it up in there.
Yeah.
And say, no, sir, I'm fine. I can hear you just fine. YouTube this stuff. You won't get in trouble for it. Just be respectful. Cops are not bad people. They're people. But across the board, they're not bad people.
They're not bad people. They're just trained to be bad. No, I'm just kidding.
Lord have mercy.
I'm just kidding.
We've just been hired by CNN to do a late night talk show on police.
Yeah. That was our quota for CNN.
Fair enough.
We got to the quota.
Wow. Well,
did you hear about Chris Cornell?
Chris Cornell.
The terrorist from Cincinnati.
The
wrestler.
Right. Well, that sounds so familiar.
Apparently, Fox 19 wanted to do an interview with him. And I'm not sure who originally initiated that. It could have been Fox was like, our local channel is Channel 19, Fox, whatever. I don't know if they were like, hey, let's see if we can get an interview with him, and told him, hey, we'd like to get an interview, and then the police or the government or something said, no, you can't do an interview with him.
And probably the federal government.
Right. They were worried about security reasons and just overall terrorism.
I mean, you got to treat him like a terrorist. They wouldn't allow them to interview a terrorist from the middle. I'm sorry. They would not allow them to interview a Muslim Islamic terrorist because Muslim Islamic terrorist.
So yeah, point taken. and there's good reason for that. The whole thing is you don't want them to do their propaganda.
Right.
So they said, all right, fine, I guess we won't do the interview. Well, somehow Chris knew about this. Somehow. Or...
Well, somebody might have went to go visit him.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if Chris said, I want to get interviewed. And then Fox 19 said, oh, we'd love to do that. And then we're told no. Or if Fox News initiated, hey, can we interview him? And they said no. I don't know, one way or the other. So guess what happened?
Uh-oh.
One of his Muslim advisors, apparently, or maybe on his own. He seems like kind of an idiot, so I don't really... imagine that he would have come up with this on his own. Decided, well, we get phone calls periodically. Let's go ahead and... when's my next phone call? All right, Chris, you got your phone call. Go ahead. Yeah, operator, give me Fox 19.
You are lying.
Called him up.
I don't think that they can air that, though.
Well, they did.
I think they're going to get in a lot of trouble for that.
Well, they tried to. The government was like, whoa, 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 whoa! What's with this? Turns out, Fox 19 consulted their lawyers real quick. And
if he initiated the call...
He called them from prison.
So Fox 19 slipped him the direct bat phone, the red hot phone that will accept $20 a minute prison, because you got to call collect.
Is it?
Yes. You call collect from prison.
But I don't even know where he's being held. I don't even know if it's very far away.
Doesn't matter. If you're calling from a jail phone,
you have to
it
put
is
in
a
quarters.
collect. No, it is a collect call. The
Oh
person on the other line. So you pick it up. The prison operator answers, and you dial your number, and then the operator answers. And then when they pick up, the reason why I know is because this
How
guy.
do you know this?
This guy
A buddy of yours.
Back a few years ago.
But this is before he probably has a cell phone in his cell. Things have changed. They have all the cable channels.
What's her face? What's that? That crazy deranged woman, girl.
I need more information.
Who killed her boyfriend?
How many syllables? First word begins
black
with
hair, glasses. Oh, anyway,
killed her boyfriend. I have no idea.
This week they had a whole article. She's Instagramming and texting girls on it's okay to kill your man and all
that's not good.
From a cell phone in jail.
So she has a cell phone. This is crazy.
Well,
that's the problem with
the
prison system in America.
There's a breakdown.
There's no number one, there's no punishment anymore, really. I mean, other than the fact that you're not allowed outside of that area.
You don't have physical freedom, but you have mental freedom.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you can describe the World Wide Web as being a virtual universe, that it's like we live in reality in the real world, but when you get online, you're in like an alternate electronic reality. When you give that access to people in prison, they're no longer imprisoned.
Right.
I mean, I could sit at home all day in front of a computer and see the world.
Right.
Because I'm on the internet.
And a lot of people do. A lot of gamers do.
Yeah, talk about ultimate reality. They're in a 3D world. But anyway, and you know what? There's probably people in prison who are probably allowed to play some of those 3D games. But anyway, so they're not being punished with isolation or just being whatever. Their freedom's taken away. And the number two thing is back in the day, way back in the day, if you watch like Shawshank Redemption, and other places, if you learn about prison back then, prisoners during their time of incarceration would work. You ever heard of hard labor?
Oh yeah,
you know, they would work all day. If you've seen
breaking rocks,
Cool Hand Luke,
all that
kind of stuff. So they're doing lots and
lots
of
gang.
Doing work to pay for their sins or whatever. They pay for their crime.
They're actually building roads.
They're cleaning roads. In Cool Hand Luke, they were doing a lot of landscaping along the sides of roads because the grasses and weeds and stuff would grow and kind of take over the road and stuff like that. So they would cut that down. They don't work anymore. They're not doing anything that would be an improvement to society in any way, shape, or form. And by the way, while it may look like slave labor to you, that work is doing something positive for those people.
Right. Right.
Period.
Absolutely.
So anyway, neither of that's happening. So
Cornell calls
up
Fox.
Fox 19 and he says he does what you would think a good little Muslim terrorist would do.
Follower. Right.
Yeah. And what do you think he did?
Of the Islamic cult.
What do you think he did?
I'm going to blow you all up.
He did do that. He also said that if let free, he would put a gun to Obama's head and kill him.
Oh!
He said that.
Does he know Obama's Muslim, though?
It wasn't the point. It was more like a Death to America thing.
Okay.
He also said he would go to the Capitol and kill all, if not as many as possible, all the congressmen. And here's the kicker.
I do not advocate killing anybody. However, it would be a good thing to remove a lot of those congressmen out of their position. I don't want them dead, though.
Right. They should be removed, and most of them put in prison with Chris.
Right, for the crimes they've committed. I mean, just crime. I mean,
right,
just sentencing.
Right, and if not, just whatever, just get out of here. Here's the kicker, though. This is the most terrorist type thing that he could have done, and he did it pretty effectively, which was make sure that everybody listening knew, and that's why I think he was well coached, that there's a lot of me out there, not just in Ohio, lots in Ohio though, but also all the states in the whole country.
There's a map that I had earlier and an article about the training camps throughout all of America.
Oh, there you go. Terrorist training camps here in America.
A lot of them in Texas too, because there's a lot of land out there.
Now, I do know a Muslim who goes to the mosque every week, and he said, I don't know, I've never met anybody like Chris Cornell. So it may just be that guy is just not aware.
Maybe we should start going to mosques to see if we can infiltrate.
Well, what we could do is act like we're the next Chris Cornell.
Right. Send me to your training camp.
And you know what will end up happening?
I want to go to a training camp.
We'll run into another CIA operative, FBI informant.
And that'll be our only friend.
And he will be our only friend, and he's going to then instigate us to attack America.
See, that's not legal. However,
that's what Chris's dad and all that was claiming. Yeah. So
his only friend was a CIA operative.
Yeah. So anyway,
what a shame.
So that's what happened. So he said I would kill. He pretty much completely. By the way, he's going to plead innocent. His lawyer was like, "Please don't call. Please don't do this. Don't." And his lawyer is probably ready to quit now.
Hold on. Well, first off, the lawyer can't quit. Second off, it's not a lawyer.
Oh, it's a public
pretender.
So the public pretender is like, what is this? What I got to go plea innocent in front of all these people and somehow keep a straight face.
Because if you are fresh out of college as a lawyer and you pass the bar and you have a law degree, your first job is to pretend that you are a legit lawyer.
Yeah.
It's like my first job was working at Kroger's, and now I work as a machinist in a machine shop. Well, it would be like me going to Kroger saying, "Hey, man, I'm a machinist."
Yeah, go ahead.
What are you doing here?
So we're going to put you on the shelves. We're going to restock shelves. So he's got to go in there with a straight face, plea innocent, and then defend him after he calls the press and tells them, because he's being charged with conspiracy to commit these crimes. Now that he actually is admitting that he was going, that not only was he going to do it, but if released, he would. How do you even defend this guy?
Oh no.
But anyway, so I guess he wants to spend the rest of his life in an American prison with the rest of the
martyr, Charles Manson, same thing.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. It seems kind of silly, but that's what happened with Chris Cornell. So is that it?
I think that's about it. The only way that we can end this show, folks, is for me to hit Alt-Control-Delete
Oh boy! So we don't have any closing.
We don't have
music?
any closing music.
Oh,
no end
man.
credits. No nothing. But
Man.
I'll learn from my lesson. We'll clean this thing up. Get
So-
it ready to roll.
So just this is kind of funny. We're not joking about this. In order to end this, Brian might actually have to reach down below the desk and yank the plug out of the wall. Possibly.
Listen to us next week every Sunday at 5 o'clock, folks. New hour, new time.
Here, I'll do the outro.
Task manager.
Control, Alt, Delete. I want you all to go to the window and pull out your 40 millimeter and.
That last part didn't get it.
Damn it! That was a good one. Pull out your 40 millimeter. Oh, dude, yeah, I gotta get out of here, but yeah, it was a good show. I hope. Do you think it's gonna go down and go up on the internet?
Yeah, what happened? I'll tell you.
Oh, I got a question for you. You would know this. Is it cost a lot more, or is it a different plan to go full live on iHeart? Because
I don't know how to do it.
well, we should ask them, because right now, EDN is on iHeart.
Right.
When
And they
they-
are live.
The music that they play on the radio
Right.
is about 5 seconds behind what you hear.
Right.
And you can't forward, you can't click forward, because it's live. We aren't there, and I want to know how. And the reason I want to know how is not so much, I got this idea.
I'm shocked at how responsive iHeart is.
Okay, cool.
So I can.
Well, it was hard as hell to get there to begin with. But no, and we figured out that that's their MO. That's what but no, here's the reason why. I got an idea. That's going to be really. It may get us a lot of new. It may get me fired from coaching forever, but it might get us a lot of new subscribers.
Okay.
The state tournament has a huge press area.
You told me about this.
Yeah. If I can figure out how to put together a semi-professional live show without having to send people a Spreaker, if I could just say, we're at iHeartRadio. Spreaker, it's kind of like, guys, download this. It might be. I'll do it if I have to. I'll just say, go to Smith Radio, and it'll send us a Spreaker. But if I could just say, go Smith Radio on iHeart, those people got iHeart already downloaded. It's almost as popular, maybe more popular than Pandora.
I don't know anybody that's on Pandora much anymore.
I think that may open the door to people looking into what Smith Radio is.
And I am shocked that your app for iHeartRadio is so superior than my app on my stupid phone.
What do you mean? I don't know what you mean.
All the things that you can do on your Spreaker app,
Spreaker.
your Spreaker app to record. I can't do that shit.
What? When?
Space shit.
You have the Windows phone suite? Oh, that's why. I can record a recording and make it go live as soon as I'm done recording. Right away.
I can't do that.
Is this still going?